What's up, guys? Welcome back to the ASAP Automotive channel, and today we're back at it working on the LSTJ, and we're going to be doing some much needed upgrades on the front suspension, aka these wore out upper control arms. So stay tuned. Talked about in the intro, we're working on the upper control arms on the front of this thing today. While we've been in here doing this LS swap, doing all the stuff to it, we noticed that the bushing back here is not seen grease in quite a while, and it's pretty toast and burnt up. Had some play in it. So we got this kit from Rough Country. We'll show you guys the kit number here in a second. That, or we'll have it in the link or whatever. Anyways, we went ahead and got one on here. You can see the difference. This is actually an updated kit from Rough Country, I guess. It's still got the pivot point up there. It's greasable and actually rebuildable. But this is what we're doing today, is getting these things changed out so we can actually get this thing aligned. One of the problems we found out too is they had these adjusted too short. And the caster where the spindle actually pivots was too far back. So one of the many reasons why this thing drove so bad before we got it in here, I had the luxury of driving this thing once and it about scared the bejesus out of me, because like we've showed earlier with the track bar, we've had to replace the drop pitman arm that we put on and put everything correct, and putting this front end back to where it should be, and it actually drives nice. What you actually guys see in probably one of the next videos is actually we've got to do ball joints because we've got play in that too. So he's not going to know what to do when we get this thing back together and it rides like a Cadillac. But that being said, we're going to go ahead and work on getting these out and showing you guys how to do it. Alright guys, so we've already started putting the one on the driver's side just to kind of give a visual, but one of the things you want to make sure is you get the vehicle supported right. You really want to get underneath the frame and get the front end off the ground and then put you some jack stands or a jack underneath the axle. You're still going to have the lower control arms attached, unless you're doing those too, but I would only do these, top and bottom at a time or whatever, not take it all loose. The axle is going to possibly want to pivot back and forth once you take both of these loose, so be careful. Make sure you got it, supported properly. That's all on you, don't be stupid. In our particular application, we've got 18 millimeter on either side down here on this bolt and nut, and we've got a 15 millimeter up here with a capture nut with a wing on it. That, since there's no access to get back in there, ain't no way you get a wrench in there. So we're gonna go ahead and take this out. We're worried, we're not sure with our swap. We might have an issue with it hitting the exhaust and not being able to come out. We got lucky on the driver's side. We were able to pivot this thing once we had the bolt loose, but here's the scene maybe if we get lucky the second time. But that one up here is gonna be a 15 millimeter, and I'm just using a 15 millimeter gear wrench on it. So. Sweet! Got lucky twice. That never happens. Alright, so like I said earlier, if you notice, our exhaust is pretty tight here, especially since we ran the 2.5 inch piping. But fortunately, we're able to kind of get the bolt out enough and start angling this and get it out past on the back side, thank God, because that would have sucked having to unbolt all that, but fortunately we didn't. So you can see here where it's got a grease fit on it. It's got some grease at some point, but that bushing was just all kind of dry. Had some play in it and stuff, so well, actually it's kind of seized up right now. But that being said, we went ahead and went with the new ones just to be done with it. So now we're going to go ahead and work on putting the new ones in. Alright, so if you notice, you get your fixed in here and you get your threaded, basically your heim joint in or whatever on this end here, that threads in and out of the main part. You got a jam nut here. So what they say in the spec for in the installation sheet is start at 15.5 inches So that's what we've done here from center to center on the bolt holes. So we're going to start with that, and we're going to go ahead and just kind of seat this down for right now, not too much. And then we've got to go ahead and tighten these up. You want these facing downward, because you want to think about if they're facing downward, they're easier to get get in there and service and grease so they don't get missed all the time. And those are just like it's like maybe a 9 or 10 millimeter, it might be an 8 on that one. But just make sure those are good and snug and facing where they're easy to get to. So we're gonna go ahead and do that, and we're gonna go ahead and set it back on up in there. All right, so if when you're going to put the front back on, you notice we had to kind of finagle the back end through there and got it started, and then got the capture nut started. We left it loose for right now until we get this on. If you come up here and it's a little bit tight, doesn't want to go over the center metal part of the bushing, you can kind of come in here with a pry bar and kind of just walk it out, flex it a little bit and walk it over it. We've already got it down over it, so now I'm going to take a dead blow and go ahead and knock it on down and work on positioning this where we can go ahead and start our front bolts. All right, so we had to get in here and actually put a pry bar across here, across the yokes, and rotate this a little bit to go ahead and get this one to line up. And I think we've got to go back the other way for the other side. So especially with the suspension all the way down like this, it's a little bit, under pressure, a little bit cocked. So it's going to take a little bit to get them to line up, but you got a nice good sized pry bar or something like this, a piece of pipe, you can get in there and rotate it around and have a buddy help start the bolts for you if you need. So now we're going to go ahead and do this other one. And we're going to put a little bit of Loctite on these and go ahead and tighten them on down. All right, so we had some issues getting this one lined up here. I think the mounts might have been sprung a little bit or whatever. It has been hit in the front, and we did have some wear on that one for quite a bit, so it might have been beating back against it. Who knows? But we got it lined up, got the bolt through. We're going to go ahead and tighten them down now and tighten down the ones in the rear. And we can come back and go ahead and tighten up these jam nuts here. And that way we can go ahead and get this thing ready. Once you do that point, then you're ready to go off to the alignment shop. All right, so we had a little bit of trouble getting this one started here on the front. I think the axle might be a little tweaked or whatever, because they're dead the same either way. This thing did have a bunch of wear in the bushing back there. This thing has been hitting the front a little bit, so could have been a little tweaked, who knows. But either way, we got it through, got it lined up. You can take like a punch and get in there and kind of walk and try to pull it to line it up. That'll help. Or, like a Phillips head screwdriver, flathead, whatever, you can get in there. To correct myself from earlier, these are actually 17s on both ends on this side here on the front. And the rear is, of course, the 15s. And then what we're going to do is go ahead and go up here and grease the top ends. That way they're good to go. And then after that, you're ready to go into the alignment shop. As long as you don't have any other issues like we do with needing to do ball joints. All right, guys, and that's a wrap on another how-to. Well, I don't know, technically a how-tos with Mike, but it's part of the LSTJ, so maybe we'll put it under both playlists for you guys. But anyways, like I said, it's fairly basic job. Right tools and a little bit of, the proper jack stands and stuff. You can knock this thing out in about maybe an hour or so when you drive away with a buddy. But like I said, with the 2.5 or the 4.0, probably be a lot easier time than we had, being that we've got the LS in this thing. It's a little bit wider, the exhaust is in the way, but fortunately we're able to snake it by. So that being said, I hope it's going to help some of our issues with the ride in the front, put it right. We knew that bushing was shot, so there's no way to align it without that. We got those jam nuts tightened up too. We just snugged them up. Remember, set it 15.5 inches center to center so you can get it to an alignment shop and they can get you lined up. So, but until next time, guys, hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget to check out our sister channel, MacGyver's Workshop. Got a ton of great stuff over there right now. He's doing like a full-blown restoration on an F-150. Always posting all kind of cool, fun stuff. So, and until next time, remember, guys, stock, it's not an option.